Welcome to another edition of Talking Models. Today's episode we're going to do a painting tutorial on Christopher Lee, sculpted by Jeff Yagher and available through Gillman Productions. This is one beautiful kit that Jeff captured Christopher Lee's likeness to a T from his role in Dracula. Well, today we're going to talk a little bit about what I did to bring this beautiful piece to life. And as you can see, it's just so well sculpted. Just so well sculpted. As we peek around it a little bit, you can see all the detail Jeff has. Just a beautiful, beautiful piece. So, let's get busy. So I started with the kit. I primed it with automotive gray primer. And once I had that set, it was time for the fun to begin. I base coated the base in black and the left to top figure in the gray primer, if you will. So let's go. I started with the base. I always like to do the base first, and that way it kind of gives me a direction on how I feel the piece is going to go, how it's going to blend, and how the base is going to accent the figure, which to me is the focal point of any quarter scale bust, is the figure itself. So I sprayed the base using Garage US Jet Black, and that was over the black that I had hand painted on there. And I began with the outer walls, and I sprayed them with Freak Flex Grave Parlor Gray, and I just gave it a nice coat of that, and you want to just leave a little bit of the hint of the black showing. Now the bricks and the outer door frame and also the steps were sprayed with Freak Flex Dead Guy Gray. And once I had that done, that was the beginning of building up the grays on this beautiful piece. Now for the ground area, I base coated that using Freak Flex Rotten Tooth Tan. And that way it would give me a good starting point for the dirt that was on, and of course the washes and transparents that were yet to come. So I began deepening the ground area using Garage US Transparent Raw Umber and Transparent Dark Brown. That way I've darkened up that Rotten Tooth Tan a little bit, and I started building up the dirtiness of the ground. So after I did that, I came back to that ground area and I highlighted it with some dry brushing using Freak Flex Bleach Bone Tan. And of course for the rocks, I pulled out the Dead Guy Gray from the Freak Flex line, and I simply dry brushed those areas of the ground and the rocks. Then I came in with some Delta Cream Coat Mudstone, and I began dry brushing the walls, the bricks, and the door frame with that mudstone. What a unique name for these stones on this base. Mudstone. So at that point I came in with some Garage US Transparent Rich Brown to shade the base sporadically. I just kind of went around and hit different areas, and of course not to wash out the work that I've already done to this point. So I pulled out some Freak Flex Body Bake Black, and I simply airbrushed that on the inside of the door, so it looks like you don't know what's beyond the door. If you were to go in to this door, what could be waiting on the other side? I'm thinking it begins with a D. So once that was done, I pulled out some Freestyle Burnt Sienna, and I deepened the bricks and parts of the walls with that, just to give it a muddy look and just some reddish tone to the brick and some of the wall areas. Of course, then it was time to quiet everything down. So you know it, I pulled out some Awada Transparent Black and began just quieting the whole thing down. And then of course at this point you want to go back in with your different colors and just kind of re-hit, re-highlight, re-shadow those areas. But this transparent black just seems to pull it all together and keep the colors from being too stark, is the best way to put it. And believe it or not, after that the base was done. On to Dracula. So again, I base coated his hands and face using some Garage US Kit Flesh. And I just brought that out and I just sprayed the hands and the face. So right at this point I decided to move into the eye area, And I hit them with some Garage US Transparent Mars Red, just to add some distressed look, some redness to the flesh tone that I have begun. So then I pulled out some Freak Flex Pale Flesh, and I simply highlighted the face and the hands using that pale flesh. So what I like to do at this point when I'm working with the flesh tones is I like to paint in the hair and the top of the cloak on this particular piece. So I pulled out some Delta Cream Coat Black, and I simply just painted the hair and the top of the cloak. That way I could see what my flesh tones were looking like against the black. So once I had that done, I decided to pull out some pastels. So I took some red pastel to the area below the eyes, the lips, and at this point I decided to finish the cape off using the Freak Flex Body Bag Black. So now I've got my base tones, my flesh tones, starting to introduce some pastels, and trying to get all this to start coming together. So then I returned with some Garage US Pale Flesh, and I hit the raised areas of the face and hands, and of course added more red to the eyes and face areas using that Garage US Transparent Mars Red. So once I had that done, I had a good point on my flesh tones I was happy with. So I decided to move to the eyes and the teeth. So I pulled out my Freak Flex Bleach Bone Tan, and I base coated both the eyes and the teeth using that. I then came back in and I dusted the face and hands with some Garage US Transparent Pale Flesh, and re-highlighted the cape using some Freak Flex Nair Black. That way I have a nice gray and black. That Nair Black is a very nice shading color when you're using black, because it's like a gray and it's like a black. It's Nair Black, imagine that. So at this point I came in with Garage US Bright Flesh, and I hit the cheeks and mouth area. I wanted to give some redness to it. Maybe he just ate and he still has some blood in the cheeks area and it's just kind of still flushed. So once I had that done, I painted in the pupil. So I pulled out my Freak Flex Body Bag Black, and I simply just drew in a circle with a steady hand. Just take your time. I like using like a half moon on each side to begin my eye. Just, a circular motion on the left or right, then kind of add the top and the bottom, and of course then it's just simply filling in the black. And for the eye color, I kind of wanted to use like a reddish brown to his eyes, like he's totally angry and vamped out. So I used some Freak Flex Road Rash Brown, and I just circled in the eye color, and then I pulled out some Freak Flex Bloody Wooden Steak, and I kind of just did toward the center of the eye with that, and it gave it a nice little contrast from that brown to the bloody wood steak color to kind of fill in the eyes nicely. At this point, for the tie, I brought out some Anita's Metallic Black and painted that area with that metallic black. And of course, once you dull coat it, it brings that metallic part out, and it just gives you a nice different black that stands out against the other blacks. And for his shirt, I pulled out some Freak Flex Banshee's Gray, and I simply sprayed the shirt with this color. Now for his hair, I simply dry brushed that with Freak Flex Dead Guy Gray. And of course at this point I returned to the eyes, and I added in the pupil using the Freak Flex Body Bag Black. And then, just a little bit of touching up here and there. And believe it or not, the figure was done. So that's what I did to bring this beautiful quarter scale bust by Jeff Yagher to life. If you haven't picked this one up, reach out to Jeff, reach out to Paul Gill. I'll have both of their contact information in the description of this video. And do yourself a favor, pick this gem up. As you can see, it's just a beautiful kit, really capturing Christopher Lee. A new venture for Jeff and Paul entering into this hammer line of bust. The bust line is growing, and at the time of shooting this painting tutorial, they're about to introduce a new one into the scheme of things. So check out Paul Gill's page, check out the Yagher Army on Facebook. If you're not a member of the Yagher Army, I will put the link to that in here, and you can request to join the group. I share moderating that group with Mark Worthling, Paul Gill, and Mike Calvert. Remember to answer all the questions that you see on there, and that gets you immediately into the Yagher Army. Boom, you're in. Now, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, I'd love for you to join Talking Models. Just hit that subscribe button, and you're part of the Talking Models family. Just like that. It's that easy, honest. So, I appreciate you watching this painting tutorial on Christopher Lee from the Hammer line from Jeff Yagher. And I just appreciate everything you've done for this channel. I'm blown away. So thanks for stopping in today to Talking Models. And as always, may the Lord bless your day.